It's unfortunate because I'm assuming she's a senior and going to graduate soon, and now this is going to jeopardize her ability to graduate.
A 23-year-old FIU student charged with a felony over messages she wrote in a school group chat. Gabriela Saldana facing a judge Thursday morning. According to her arrest report, this went down in a WhatsApp group chat of about 215 students, where students were discussing an event that was to take place Friday at the Ocean Bank Convocation Center on campus to make their capstone presentations. An FIU police officer read some of the statements in court.
The exact words utilized was, "There's going to be a bomb in the Ocean Bank Convocation Center, and it's going to be at Jonathan's fault," one of the members in the chat.
7 News obtaining some bits of that chat. It seemed the student wanted the event rescheduled and wrote, quote, "Netanyahu, if you can hear me, drop some bonbons for us capstone students in Ocean Bank Convention Center." Other students wrote they didn't take that text lightly. She later in the chat wrote, quote, "I wrote a dumb joke that should not have been made."
I can understand your position, Ms. Corey, and you're saying this is a joke, but to an objective person, it's not a joke, and there would be enough for probable cause. I'm not saying it's enough for beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know what the state's going to be able to prove at trial, but for purposes of this hearing, I believe there is enough for probable cause.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rchakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, bishops, and elders of the great millstone who taught us this truth. Shalom also to the Akim pushing this word in sincerity and in truth, and to the speckled birds scattered throughout the 4 corners of the world, and to the few sisters who are listening to you, I say Shalom. Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson on the brother Khadashia from the GMS Chicago camp, coming back at you with another lesson through the Spirit. And this one was inspired off of this video that I just saw on Instagram, you know, going into how this student, this Florida college student, was arrested for making a joke on WhatsApp about Netanyahu. All right. And like we told you, brothers and sisters, man, and like the apostles and elders have been prophesying for the longest, this is what's gonna come, man. All right. And they're making an example out of this college student, because very soon they're gonna start prosecuting and putting more people in jail for criticizing the tiny tops, man. Okay, and who are the main ones that are coming up against those people? The Hebrew Israelites, man. All right. One of the talking points and one of the things that we bring out when we're prophesying is the fact that those people are imposters and they're not really the people of the Lord, man. So we have the strongest, you know, outlook when it comes to these people, man. Our stance against the tiny tops is a very strong stance. So if this woman, all she said was a joke and now she's in jail, what do you think is going to happen to us, man? All right, we told you, brothers and sisters, that this was what, you know, this is what's going to come, man. All right, that's why, you know, before I get this scripture, you have to count the cost and know what you're involved in, man. You got to understand how serious this truth really is, man. This is Luke 14, and I'm going to start off at verse 27. It says, "And whosoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest haply, after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish." So you got to understand what you're involved in, man. You got to understand how serious this truth really is. The stance that we take against the world, against these current world powers, against this current administration that's running the United States of America, against the tiny tops, against every world major power that is ruling the world right now, the stance that we take is the stance of the scriptures, man. All right. We're telling you the will of the Lord. And so understanding what the will of the Lord is and what the Lord is trying to do and what he is doing, not that he's trying to, he is doing it, man. The determination of the Lord is to gather the nations and to assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them his wrath. So we're actively speaking up against these governments. We're actively speaking up against the tiny tops. So the stance that we take, you got to understand that this truth is very serious, man. And we could go to jail for this. We could get put to death for this, man. And you got to understand that. If you don't understand that and you're scared of going to jail, you're scared of dying for the truth, then this is not for you, man. Straight up, you got to understand what you're involved in and count the cost and really meditate if you really have sufficient to finish this out, man. If you're really gonna, keep on having faith on the Lord, even through all the different trials and tribulations that we're about to face, man, because it's about to get rocky. All right. You got college students now going to jail for little jokes, man. Okay. What do you think is going to happen to us brothers, man, that are constantly making lessons on these tiny tops and bringing out and exposing them for who they really are and calling them, their real identity, man? They're Amalekites. And there's nothing wrong with us calling them who they truly are, but because they've lied to the whole world and they've been pushing this lie for so long, of course we're going to be public enemy number one, man. And that's why you got to count the cost. Because there is going to be some of us that get put into prison for this truth, man. This is Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So there you have it, man. The Lord is not, he's not just going to leave us in that position of being in prison and just getting prosecuted and being put to shame. Nah, man, the Lord is exhorting us and letting us know through the scriptures to fear none of the things that we're going to suffer. He said to be faithful unto death, and he's going to give us a crown of life. See, the difference between us and these people right here that are going to jail for making little jokes against the tiny tops, these people don't have the Lord, man. The Lord is not defending these people, man. See, right now that the whole world is speaking up against the tiny tops, which is prophecy, man, the scriptures talk about how that shameful spewing would be on their glory, and that the wicked would be getting revealed. So right now that the wicked is being revealed and the whole world is looking at these Edomites for how disgusting and wicked and violent they really are, and all their history of rape, rob, and murdering is coming out on them. Now that history is being exposed, everybody has something to say against these people, man. Everybody is exposing these devils for their crimes against humanity. You see? But the difference between the people in the world that are exposing them and us, and the brothers that are in the truth, that are exposing these devils, is the fact that we got Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai on our side, man. So when this tribulation does come, and some of us do get put into prison for speaking up against these Edomites and this power system that they got in place, this beast system, all right, the Lord is going to be with us, man. All right. The Lord said that to be faithful unto death, and he's going to give us a crown of life. We're going to receive salvation out of this situation that we're about to go through, man. All right. Because not all of us are going to go through this. Some brothers are going to be on the run. Other brothers are going to be, in FEMA camps. Other brothers are going to get, put in a position where they're going to have to come before these governors and give a testimony against them. And some of us are going to be beheaded, man. That's just the reality of what we are involved in. And you got to know this, because the Lord didn't tell us these things, so we could be scared. He told us these things so that None of these things would come as a surprise, man. All right, this is John 16:1. These things have I spoken unto you, that you should not be offended. So the Lord told us beforehand what we were gonna go through, man. We're not just gonna walk into the kingdom. There's gonna be a lot of things that we're gonna suffer and go through. All right, but at the end of the day, that's our lot as Israelites, man. If a man never goes through the danger set before it, how are we gonna receive the inheritance that the Lord has set for us, man? All right, the kingdom. How are we gonna receive the kingdom if we don't go through this straight gate? We have to go through this straight gate, man. And we have to prepare our minds for this coming prosecution, man. This coming they're about to start shaming us, man. Okay, they're about to start having us as public enemy number one, man. And you got to know that, so that you got to prepare your mind for what's about to come, man. All right, because we're about to be persecuted, okay, on a whole nother level. And you got people already, coming up against Great Millstone and trying to paint us as these bad guys. You got these other camps trying to paint us as these bad guys. But hey, man, very soon Esau Edom is about to paint us as the bad guy. And you got to be prepared for that, man, because it's about to get crazy up in here, man. And if mentally you're not prepared for that, you could fold under pressure, man. And if you do fold under pressure, that means that you were not part of the elect. Okay? That's why you got to think about these things and really know what you're involved in, man. Another thing too, the mark of the beast. All right, you got these other camps playing around the prophecy when about the mark of the beast, not telling you what it really is, which right here at Great Millstone, we tell you exactly what it is. It's the microchip, man. Very soon that's going to be made mandatory. And we're letting you know that it's the microchip. But you got these other camps dancing around it. Well, guess what? Very soon, once that gets made mandatory, you other camps are going to have to face the truth. You're going to have to face the reality of the prophecies, man. Okay, especially the reality of Revelation 13 and 16, because people are not going to be able to participate in the economy without that microchip, man. You're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you have that microchip. So there's going to be a lot of, man, look, we're about to get put into some crazy situations very soon. And that's why we have to really cleave unto the Lord and come before the throne of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai boldly, man. Because the truth is that very soon, we're about to go through these things, man. All right. And the scripture says, they that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we have to endure through these things, man. We just read Revelation 2 and 10 that we shall be in tribulation 10 days. Let me get that again. This is Revelation 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. And those 10 days is really any number of time, man. It could be 10 days. It could be 15 days. It could be 7 days. All right. You don't know how long the Lord is going to, have you be in that position, man. And that's why you got to prepare your mind and really understand what you're involved in, because we could go to jail for this, man. You got this, this college student, all right, being persecuted and put in jail for a little joke. So what we're doing is way more destructive to what Esau Edom got going on and their plans for, the new world order. Our talking points and the prophecies that we're bringing out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is really breaking down their strongholds, man. So they're starting to make an example out of people because their aim is really to come at the men of the Lord, man. So very soon this prophecy is going to come to pass, man. The devil is going to start casting some of us into prison, man. And so Lord willing, Lord willing, we remain faithful unto death so that we may receive that crown of life. And that's if we get put in that position, man. And that's why mentally you got to prepare yourself for these things, man. This is Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. So, we're not just going to walk into the kingdom. We're going to go through a lot of trials and tribulations. Our faith is going to be tested, man. Some of us are going to get put into prison and be tried by that situation. Okay, but we have to be faithful unto death. We have to keep the faith, man, regardless of what situation we get put into, because some of us are going to get beheaded. Some of us are going to get put into prison. Okay, some of us are going to be in these FEMA camps. Some of us are going to get grabbed up by Esau. All right, but at the same time, some of us, a majority of us, are not. All right, the Lord said that there be some standing among you that shall not taste death. So as much as we're also letting you know about these situations and be telling you to be prepared for it mentally, we're also letting you know that there's going to be salvation, man. All right, this is not 70 AD, but you got to give the balance, man. You got to give the balance and give the reality of what we're involved in. Yes, you could go to jail for this. Yes, you may be beheaded for this. But guess what, man? The Lord also said that we're going to eat, that we're going to rejoice, and that he's going to set up a standard for us to escape. So you just got to have faith, man, and just, play out whatever the Lord got in your lot for you, man. Whatever the Lord got set up for your story, however it's going to play out for you, you just got to be mentally prepared for whatever the Lord is about to put you through, man. All right, because you may be a brother that gets his beheaded. All right, well, guess what? The Lord is going to give you the spirit to go through that, man. The Lord isn't just going to put you through something that you cannot handle. If you're meant to get your head beheaded, the Lord is going to put the spirit on you to handle that, man. If you go to the FEMA camp, the Lord is going to put the spirit on you to handle that. And if you go to prison, the Lord is going to put the spirit on you to handle that, man. None of us are going to go through any situation that we cannot handle in these last days. That's another thing, man. You got to have faith that whatever the Lord puts in front of your, whatever he puts on your plate is because he understands you can handle it. So if you do go to prison for preaching the truth, if you do go to prison for standing boldly for the names of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and for pushing the Lord's testimony and pushing his good news and prophesying against Esau, Edom, if you go to jail for that, it's because the Lord knows you can handle it, man. That's another way to look at it. But let me read this. This is 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. There has no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. But Yahweh is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. So the Lord is not going to put you through something that you cannot handle. Everything that we suffer in the truth, whatever the Lord puts us through, is because you're able to handle it, man. All right. And not only that, but the Lord makes a way for you to escape it so you could actually bear whatever you're going through, man. So if you are prophesied, or you are, it's in your story for you to go to prison, it's because the Lord knows that you can handle it, man. You see? And we just have to show you the reality of what's about to come, man. We're about to be persecuted, man. And then look at the judge that is giving the verdict and telling the college student, her judgment. It's Mindy S. Glazer. And guess what? She's a tiny top, man. So every facet of this government is ran by the tiny tops, man. From the Congress to the judicial system to even the executive branch. You have Donald Trump that converted to Judaism. So he himself is practicing that religion, man. All right. All while telling people that he's a Christian, but also while bowing down to the tiny tops. So this whole system is compromised by the tiny tops, man. All right. And you got tiny top judges basically persecuting people, man, putting them in jail. All right. You got this Issacharite, a woman. And look at her, man. She mad as hell. She was about to graduate. Now she's going to be in jail for a little joke. So what you think is about to come for us, man? All right. The truth. Look, man, this truth is not, people try to make, like these other camps, they try to make it seem like it's about getting money and prospering in America and going on these podcasts, and you find out you're an Israelite, then you're going to be an Israelite, Hebrew Israelite rapper with your own clothing line, with your own fringe line, selling your own fringes, selling your own products. And it's like, look, man, you brothers and sisters out there that are paying attention to these other camps, you're not being warned of the reality of what's about to go down. These prophecies are jumping out the page, man. And we're in some very heavy times, man. We're at the times of the end. And this devil is about to come down with that great wrath. And if you're not prepared for what's about to come, if you don't know the name of the Lord, if you don't have faith in the death, burial, and resurrection of Yahushai, if you do not have faith in the good news, truthfully be told, then you're not in the truth, man. And you're gonna get caught up during these during the like it says in the book of Revelation 3:10, you're gonna get caught up in that great time of testing, man. All right, because that time of testing is about to come, that hour of temptation, you see. And if you're not ready for that, if you're not preparing yourself mentally for that, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, renewing your mind day by day through the scriptures, then you're not going to be ready when that time comes. You have to get ready now. If you're not ready now, you think you're going to be ready at that time when you start to get put into jail and you start to get put into prison because you got fringes on, or because you identify as a Hebrew Israelite and you're practicing the religion of the Hebrew Israelites, trying to follow the good news and practice the Bible as to the best of your ability. Once that persecution starts to come, there's going to be a lot of people that denounce being a Hebrew Israelite, man. Straight up. You got guys that have fallen out because they found out that you could go to jail for this, man. So yes, you got to be prepared for this, man. You got to know what you're involved in and count the cost, man. Because you got people now being persecuted and being put to jail just for saying little jokes, man. And we make whole lessons on these devils, man. We make entire lessons on Bibi Netanyahu, man. We make entire lessons exposing the tiny tops and their wicked families and their wicked crimes against humanities and the different things that they do, man. So what do you think is going to happen to us, man? That's why you got to really fear the Lord and understand what you're involved in and have confidence in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because he's going to defend us during these times, man. All right. This is Revelation 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And that hour of temptation is going to come very soon. And it's going to come when that mark of the beast gets made mandatory. All right. That's another thing too, man. That's about to happen. You got all these different technologies being developed. You have all these economies starting to really, go down. And the dollar is literally worth nothing, man. The buying power of the dollar is worth nothing. You had the elder Saint Benji who did a lesson on it, and the dollar is worth less than 7 cents now, man. So this economy is about to take a left turn, man. And it's about to be destroyed. And guess what's gonna get put into place? That digital system, that mark of the beast system, man, that microchip system. And when that system comes, that hour of temptation is going to come upon all the world to try them, man. And a lot of people are going to fail the test and take the mark of the beast, man. You see? That's another prophecy that's on the way. That's why you got to really understand what you're involved in, man. Or do you really believe these words? Do you really believe these prophecies? Because if you don't, you're going to start getting scared once more people start going to jail for speaking up against these tiny tops, man. And it's a lot of people that are speaking up against these tiny tops, man. You got Tucker Carlson speaking up against them. You got, Candace Owens speaking up against them. You have the Jimmy Dore show speaking up against them. You have Kyle Kalinske speaking up against them. You got Scott Ritter speaking up against them. So all these different people with their talking points are exposing these small hatters. So what you think is going to happen, man? They're about to start to come down with that great wrath. And they already are coming down with that, man. All right, it's only going to get more severe. Esau Edom is starting to persecute people, man, for speaking up against the Edomites. Speaking up against those tiny tops, man. Let me get this real quick. This is Matthew 10 and 16. It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." And this is a reason why we also have to Salaki, let me close my window real quick. Let me read it again. It says, Matthew 10 and 16, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." And this is another reason why we have to watch what we do, man, especially amongst these people in the world, what we see on social media, and this goes for me first and foremost, man. All right? What you say on social media and what you say on these different apps is now being watched, man. And most of these different apps are owned by the small hatters, man. They're owned by AMALEK. Okay, and best believe for the past 3, 4, 5 years, they've been letting people just talk their shit, man. Because once that system goes live and they start persecuting people and using their technology to find out, and their little algorithms to find out who was talking shit, they're gonna start putting people to jail. They're gonna start putting people in jail, knocking on doors, and they're already doing that, man. But it's only gonna get more intense. And this is why us brothers and sisters, we gotta be very wise on what we say online, what we do on our social media accounts, and so on and so forth, man. Because you could put something up as a little joke, and next thing you know, you're in jail, man. All right, and you don't want to do something that could bring blame upon the ministry, man. All right, so be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, man. All right, you don't want to do something that could bring a blame upon the ministry. All right, let me see if I could get that scripture real quick. This is let me see. I believe it's it's in Corinthians. This is 2 Corinthians 6 and 3, "Giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed." All right, so you got to make sure that you're out here moving wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, understanding the will of the Lord. Because the Lord is already, it's already prophesied in the scriptures that Amalek is would be the first of the nations, which is those tiny tops. All right, it is prophesied that they would be the first of the nations, but that their latter end would be that they perish forever, man. The Lord is going to destroy them. It's already prophesied in the scriptures, man. All right, so the Lord is going to destroy Esau, Edom, and these tiny tops, man. All right, these American Edomites and these Israel knots. Okay, so knowing those things, knowing that we're already taking the craziest stance against these devils by speaking up this truth. All right, the least that you could do is really give no offense in anything, especially online, on your social media, man. Making sure that you're not really speaking up against these tiny tops, man. And that goes for me first and foremost, because hey, sometimes I be sharing little pictures on my social media account about these tiny tops, but hey, man, I gotta chill out with that. Okay, because even though it might be a little joke, look, man, they're taking those little jokes seriously and now putting people in jail for that shit. So just be careful what you be posting on your social media account, because, hey, man, you could get put to jail. You could get put in jail now, man. All right. And ultimately, you're not just doing it because you're scared. You're doing it for the sake of the ministry. You're doing it because you don't want to bring a blame upon the ministry, man. We're here for business, man. We're not here to be jokesters. We're not here to make memes. We're not here to be sharing, our opinion online, telling people what we feel and think about these people. These people, they don't care about that, man. They look at it as is entertainment. All right, you're gonna let a little bit of entertainment that you put you in jail, all so that you can make some people laugh on your Instagram account? Nah, man, you gotta be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, man. A little joke could put you in jail now, man. All right, how much more when they really start coming up against the prophets, man? They're gonna come up against us, man. But don't make it easy for them. That's something that the brother Quadar always tells me, man. Right here in GMS Chicago, he always says, look, man, they're going to come up against us, but don't make it easy for them. Don't be an open target. Know how to hide in plain sight, man. People shouldn't know that you're a Hebrew Israelite. People shouldn't know what you're about, man. Okay? So let me keep reading right here. Verse back in Matthew 10 and 17. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. So some of us are going to get brought before these governors and before these court systems to give a testimony, man. Okay? And when that time comes, the Lord said what? Verse 19, but when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in the same hour what you shall speak. For it is not you that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. So, look, man, when that time comes, the Lord is going to put into our spirit what to say. So don't be making up scenarios in your head thinking about, man, what if I get put in that position and I get put in jail and I got to give a testimony, and then you're in the mirror practicing what you're going to say. Look, man, don't worry about that, man. Just be mentally prepared and know that this is the reality of what we're involved in. Yes, you could go to jail. You could get beheaded. You could get brought before governors for a testimony against them. Yes, that could happen, man. Just be mentally prepared, man. But don't be, making up scenarios in your head, already premeditating what you're going to say and practicing what speech you're going to give out and how you're going to bring it out. And, man, don't worry about none of that, man. The Lord, when that time comes, and if that time comes, and if that's written in your story for you to go through, the Lord is going to put it on your spirit exactly what to say. Is going to be given in, unto you in that same hour what you shall speak, because it's not you that's speaking, but the Spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that's speaking through you, man. All right, just as we make these lessons, man, we're not preparing what we're going to say when we make these lessons. All right, I didn't prepare what scriptures I was going to bring out. I'm just a vessel for the Spirit. All right, and the Lord is using me to bring out his word, man. The water Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. May he continue to use me, man. All right. But really, I just wanted to cop into this lesson to show you, brothers and sisters, the gravity of what we're involved in, man. All right. To really make you brothers understand and show you that this is the reality of what we're involved in, man. You could go to jail for this, man. And what we're involved in, we take the biggest stance against these tiny tops, man. These people just bringing out their little jokes and criticizing the tiny tops, that's not really nothing, man. But the reason why they're starting to make these people a public example is because what their desire is to really come up against the prophets, man. They want to come up against the Hebrew Israelites, man, because we're the main ones speaking up against these people. And really, the real prophets, man, the men of the great millstone, because brothers of the great millstone and brothers that preach the same doctrine, we're the main ones that are exposing these devils through the lens of the scriptures, man, and bringing out the prophecies and showing that they are the wicked that the Bible speaks of, man. So they're definitely, you know, persecuting these people because their real goal is to come up against the prophets, man. That's really what their goal is, man. So stay ready, man. Be mentally prepared and know what you're involved in. Count the cost. Really understand that this is a possibility, man. And don't be afraid. The Lord said, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. All right? But he told us to be faithful unto death, man. And we would receive a crown of life. So don't be afraid if this does happen, man. All right? This is the reality of what we're involved in. Know and understand that. Because, yeah, you know, this truth, you know, you experience your highs and lows, and some days are good, some days are bad. All right? But the Lord is just giving us our daily bread so we could do this work, man. Very soon, this ministry is going to stop. And the famine of the word is going to come. And that persecution is going to be here, man. Don't get caught up in this day-to-day life that the Lord has us living in Babylon the Great, as he has us patiently waiting for him, man. This day-to-day life is boring, man. But don't let the boredom of this day-to-day life not allow you to meditate on the gravity and the reality of what we're involved in, man. All right? The Lord has us living very simple lives, man. The Lord has us living very boring lives. But very soon that's about to change. All the comforts that the Lord has us right now with, you know, having an apartment, having a couch to sit on, having a TV to watch your shows on, and your favorite TV shows and stuff like that. All those comforts are about to go away, man. All those, having an apartment, having a phone, having Wi-Fi, having a gaming console, being able to fellowship with brothers, all these different comforts are about to be taken away, man. Jacob's trouble is about to be turned up to another level, and persecution is about to come. So be mentally prepared for what's about to go down, man. All right? All these little comforts that we have and we're so used to, be ready to lose them. And don't get offended when it does come. Don't get offended when you lose your apartment. Don't get offended when you lose your job because everything goes digital. We know that's about to happen. We know that the mark of the beast is about to come. We know everything is about to become digital. So guess what? We're about to lose our cribs. We're about to lose our apartments. We're about to lose our women if they buck up and leave us, man. And they get scared because of everything that's happening around them. A lot of women that are with us right now are going to leave us, man. They're going to get scared when this time comes. That's just the truth, bro. And you got to know these things, man. So that when that time comes, you don't get offended and you start bucking up and being offended, and you start being like, man, this is not what I signed up for. Yes, this is what you signed up for, man. Did you not read what Paul went through? Paul went through a whole lot of things, man. Let's read some of the things that Paul went through, man. Because if you think you're just going to walk into the kingdom and not go through nothing, you're sadly mistaken, man. The men of the Lord went through a lot of situations, man. A lot of trials and tribulations. And Paul himself told you some of the things that he went through, man. So what, you think in these last days you're just going to walk into the kingdom? Nah, man. We're going to suffer some of these things. Some of us are going to get put into prison. Some of us are going to get beheaded. Some of us are going to get put in these FEMA camps. Some of us are going to get put in these concentration camps. Some of us are going to be on the run. Some of us are going to be out here having to hide. Okay? And the Lord is going to, the Lord is going to be with us through it all. No matter what situation we go through, the Lord is going to be with us through it all, man. The Lord was with Paul, even though he was going through these things, man. Look at what Paul was going through. Even though Even though he was a servant of the Lord and he was pushing the gospel and he was out there making his body as a living sacrifice and pushing the good news and telling people of the Lord and his sacrifice and exalting Yahushua and his name and prophesying about the kingdom of God. All right. Even though Paul was doing those things, look at what he was suffering, man. You got to know these things. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and 23. Are they ministers of Hamashiach? I speak as a fool. I am more in labors more abundant, in stripes above measure, in prisons more frequent, in deaths often. So guess what? Paul himself went to prison for telling the truth. Paul himself suffered dying. For what? For telling the truth, man. For pushing the good news. So what do you think is going to happen to us, man? Preaching the gospel in these last days when it's these wicked rulers right now in power, man. With Esau, Edom in power. With these Amalekites in power that have hijacked our identity and telling the whole world that they're the chosen people. What do you think is going to happen to us that are taking this strong stance against them and exposing them daily, man? What do you think is going to happen to us, man? You got to know that and not be afraid of it. You got to accept it and really count the cost, man. All right? The Lord is going to be with us even if we get put to death for his name's sake, man. The Lord is going to be with us, man. All right? It says, of the Jews, 5 times received I 40 stripes save one. Thrice was I beaten with rods. Once was I stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep. In journeyings often, in perils of water, in perils of robbers, in perils by my own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren. So even though Paul was serving the Lord and he was doing all this work diligently, he was still suffering a lot of different situations, man. He said he suffered being stoned, being beaten with rods. He suffered being shipwrecked, man. Being in the water. It says that he was in the deep a night and a day. So he was out there in the waters, just floating around a night and a day, man. Can you just imagine suffering a shipwreck and just floating in the ocean somewhere? Nobody to call, nobody to cry. You know, it's like, damn. But guess what? Paul had the Lord, man. His faith was in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the God that raises the dead, man. And that's what Paul was talking about in the book of Corinthians, man. That his faith was in the Lord that raises the dead, man. So even though he suffered these things, hey, man, his faith was in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. All right, let me see if I could get that real quick. This is 2 Corinthians 1. Let me read it in the NLT real quick. This is 2 Corinthians 1. And I'm going to start off at verse 7. It says, we are confident that as you share in our sufferings, you will also share in the comfort God gives us. We think you ought to know, dear brothers and sisters, about the trouble we went through in the province of Asia. We were crushed and overwhelmed beyond our ability to endure, and we thought we would never live through it. So Paul is letting the Corinthians know about a situation that they went through in Asia and how they were pressed out of measure to the point that he literally thought that they wouldn't live through it, man. But because his faith was in the Lord, look at what he confesses to them. In fact, we expected to die, but as a result, We stopped relying on ourselves and learned to rely only on Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, who raises the dead. So this situation that they were in, they had to leave all, whatever they thought in their minds, whatever their expectation was, because their expectation, they really, Paul believed that he was gonna die. But because his expectation was exactly that, and his faith in the Lord was greater, he had to stop relying on himself and what he knew, and he had to rely on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and have faith in the Lord and the fact that he chose him to be a minister for his name. Because what did the Lord tell Ananias? He told him that Paul was going to be a chosen vessel and that he was going to suffer a lot of things for his name's sake. All right, this is Acts 9:15. But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake. So guess what? Paul was a chosen vessel by the Lord to suffer a lot of things for him and to preach his gospel, to preach his good news, man. And guess what? Paul had to give up everything, man. Paul had to give up whatever he believed to be right, and he had to fully rely on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who raises the dead. And he's the one that brought them out of this situation, man. So whatever situation Paul suffered, whether it was being beaten with stones, all right, beaten with rods, being in prison, suffering death, suffering shipwrecks, being in the deep a night and a day, suffering all these different perils, his faith was in the Lord, man. And the situations that he went through allowed him to fully rely on the Lord even more. So these situations that we're about to go through, man, not only are they going to help us rely on the Lord on a whole nother level, but we're about to see how he's going to raise us up out of these situations, man. Because guess what? Some of us are going to go to jail, man. But we're about to see how the Lord is going to deliver us out of that situation, man. Just how the Lord delivered Paul out of all his situations. And he had no other, way but to rely on the Lord, man. He had no other choice but to rely on the Lord. Well, guess what? Some of us are going to get put into a situation where it's going to be so dire and so crazy, and it's going to feel like, man, we are crushed and overwhelmed beyond our ability to endure. That's what literally Paul told them in the book of Corinthians, man. 2 Corinthians 1:8. He told them that he was crushed and overwhelmed beyond his ability to endure, and he thought he would not live through it. So guess what? We're about to be put through situations that are going to test us in that manner. But guess what? We're going to have to fully rely on the Lord and rely on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and let go of whatever we think is, right, and wait on him, trust on him, and wait on the Lord, man, who raises the dead. Because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to rescue us from these situations, man. And he's going to take us out of these situations, man. He's not going to leave us in prison like these people, man. Guess what? This college student, she's going to stay in prison, man. And she's going to suffer staying in prison for her comments against those tiny tops. But us who serve the Lord, us that are waiting on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and that our trust is in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who raises the dead, he's going to rescue us out of these situations, man. Salakia, as I was saying, I got a phone call. But it says right here in 2 Corinthians 1:10, and he did rescue us from mortal danger, and he will rescue us again. We have placed our confidence in him, and he will continue to rescue us. And you are helping us by praying for us. Then many people will give thanks because God has graciously answered so many prayers for our safety. So there you have it, man. So Our faith is in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai in these last days, man. He's going to rescue us from our mortal dangers, and he's going to continue to rescue us again. And think back on all the different testimonies and situations that the Lord has rescued you from. All the different testimonies that brothers have told you and the things that the Lord has rescued them from. And then think back not only on the testimonies that brothers have amongst the ministry and amongst the brotherhood, but think back on all the different testimonies that the men of the Lord have in the scriptures, man. All the different things that we were delivered from, man. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were put into that fiery furnace and they didn't get burnt up, man. They were walking around in the fire praising the Lord, man. Daniel was put into a lion's den, all right? And he was delivered out of the lion's den. Paul went through all these different troubles and the Lord rescued him out of them all. And he confessed that he will rescue us again. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, who raises the dead, that's the God who's with us, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And if some of us get put into prison, guess what? The Lord said to be faithful unto death, man. He told us to fear not none of the things that we should suffer, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to be with us in these last days, man. So whatever we go through in these last days, whatever our lot is, whatever is written in our story, whether it be to go to prison, whether it be getting our heads chopped off, whether it be going on the run, whether it be going to a FEMA camp, whether it be going to a concentration camp, whatever it is, man, just know that the Lord wrote it into your story because you could handle it, and the Lord is going to take you out that situation and make a way for you to escape out of it, man. The God that raises the dead, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, is on our side, man, in these last days. So whatever we go through, man, have faith, man. Have faith that the Lord is going to take you out of it, man. So with that, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Ruach Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, bishops, and elders of the great millstone who taught us this truth. Shalom and Abba Ball.